Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Clutch Conversations. It's your boy Mike. We back at you one more again, live on another Thursday night. Welcome to Clutch Conversations, man. Appreciate y'all coming through, man. First and foremost, you know how we do. Big shout out to my lovely wife, Takara. Y'all make sure y'all show us some love in the comments. And don't stop there, man. Make sure y'all show the channel some love as well. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and make sure you smash that notification bell so you can get notifications each and every time we drop a video on the channel. All right, you know we do. You know how we do. We run through some housekeeping first, so make sure you follow us everywhere you can find us. Check us out on Morph Market. Check us out on IG, 2 pages, Herp Collectors Network. Check us out on Facebook, and check us out on all major podcast platforms. That's Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and more. Check out the whole Herp Collectors Network catalog on major podcasting platforms. And then also make sure you check out the website, clutchconversations.com. Also, make sure you're checking out both USARK and USARK Florida. The link for both organizations is in the description of this video. Make sure you got a membership if you don't have a membership. I let everybody know about USARK. We got a lot of new people coming into the industry, coming into the hobby right now. We cannot stress how important both these organizations are for this hobby industry, the pet keeping experience. If you're involved in any shape, form, or fashion, you know what it is. Make sure you're supporting both USARK and USARK Florida. Also, make sure you also supporting the Double Clutch Patreon. Come tap in with me and the homie Matt from Ebony and Ivory Reptiles. It's a dope experience, man. We got a big announcement coming pretty soon, so make sure you stay tuned. Keep your ears and eyes ready for that. Also, make sure you're checking out all the shows on the Herp Collectors Network. We got 7 shows total. We run 6 days a week. You got Conjure Corner, Retic Rundown, The Moat, Grow House, Double Clutch, Morph Map, and of course, Clutch Conversations. So make sure you're checking all those shows out. We're going to pay some bills real quick, and then after that, we'll be right back to say what's up to people in the chat. Join Canova's Patreon today and get access to hundreds of hours of exclusive educational content designed to help you run a successful BallPython business. Get insider information on the latest genetics, hot new combos, and market trends, learning directly from the world's leading BallPython designer. With 5 benefits packed tiers, you may be asking yourself, which tier do I join, Mike? Well, if you're on the fence, I'd recommend the student tier. When I first joined the Patreon almost 4 years ago, this is the tier that I started on, and it's only gotten better since. So don't delay. Join the Canova Patreon today.
Art comes in many forms. At Armless Angels, it comes to life.
In life, success doesn't come to you. You go to it. In this game, forward thinking is the key to innovation and staying relevant. Plan your work and work your plan. Lose yourself in the art. Lose yourself with wetter morphs. Big shout out to the sponsors, man. Appreciate y'all. Let's see who we got in the chat tonight. We got the homie Bosa. What's good? The Sultan of Support himself. First the Pip. What's good, homie? Appreciate you coming out. We got John from Lucky's Pythons in the building. What's good? Appreciate you coming out. Dwight, the Pie Man, Double Clutch. What's good, man? Appreciate you coming out. Double Clutch Patreon member Jeff. What's good? Ballhead Balls in the building. We got the guests pulling double duty. What's good, homie? We got Dickie in the building. What's good? Appreciate you coming out. Morph Map representative. What's good? 352 in the building. The homie Brian, Heathen Hatchery. What's up, man? Appreciate you coming out. We got Wifey pulling double duty. We got Tom in the building. What's good, man? Appreciate you coming out. Another Double Clutch Patreon member. What's good, Jamie? Appreciate you coming out. Hey, we're going to stop it right there. We're going to get the intro video, and then we'll be right back.
Baby, won't you listen to me? I got that flavor, I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer, just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Ooh, you bring the lighter, I got the fuse. You make a fire, I'll add the fuel. Follow my lady, just watch your shoes. Gotta turn the heat up. This cool. Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this?
What's good, homie?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Man, pretty good, man. Been looking forward to this all week.
Definitely. No, like when you first reached out about it, I was really excited about getting on here. Catch a show live here and there, catch up on the replays and watch them while we're traveling or working in the reptile room. So when you asked if we'd be on, I definitely was honored by that. It took a couple different dates for us to actually get it planned out, but it got here sooner than we thought it would.
Yes, sir, man. Definitely, man. Appreciate you coming on. Like I said, been looking forward to this all week, man. I'm glad we finally landed on the time, but we had to go through like multiple times because you're a super busy man with the shows and whatnot, man. So how was the Nashville show?
It was really good. It was really fun being there for its first run of that show there. Whole bunch of different vendors that I personally hadn't seen before, but you still had like BC, you had Bob there. I had South Tex Gex, just people I've seen different shows ranging from other AARPE shows all the way up to Tinley and stuff like that that are familiar. But then just your local, just small vendors, people that are in that area and stuff like that, which I find fun and fascinating when we travel the country, going to different shows, just seeing those other mom and pop places and stuff like that really excite me, what they're working with, what their setups look like, what their booths look like on that aspect, and just making new friendships in those areas. It was a busy weekend. We didn't vend the show. I actually got to help out Troy and Nick on a different level and capacity with actually helping them run the show last weekend.
Oh,
so
nice.
Walked around in a staff shirt all weekend, from driving Bertha down there, setting up tables Thursday and getting everything finished off Friday before vendors start showing up, pipe and drape, all that fun stuff, to just being like customer service, dealing with ebbs and flows of the show as it goes. It was a good time. I would give the weekend for me, I'd say 4.5, because you can always improve on something out of 5 stars. I'd say 4.5. You can always make some slight improvements. It was our first time at the venue, things you don't count for, or things that like lay out differently than you expect once you're physically there in the building and stuff like that. But for the first show and being Mother's Day weekend and stuff like that, I think it went really well.
Nice. So as far as like, excuse me.
Are you good?
As far as like working on like that side of things, like we're helping to run the show, like do you think that's something you'll be interested in doing more of in the future?
It was fun. Like, as far as I love helping Nick and Troy out. It's like it's like I'm the right hand person to some extent on that part of it. Get to be if there one's Batman, one's Superman, I guess I'm like the Robin to them or something like that. So it's kind of neat. It's cool being included on decisions that they make together, and when they reach out, hey, well, Chris, what do you think about this or whatever? So that's really just a sign of friendship and character and stuff like that, and valuing my opinion on something on that aspect. It's really fun. It was different not having a table, not a place to call home. If you wouldn't say, like, you have your booth you can go back to and not escape, but you can, I'm back here. Not everybody's going to walk back here, but place to set your stuff, place to do this or do that or whatever. There was no home base at the show really, because you're just kind of moving about through the whole place of it. But it was fun. It was really neat. When I first kind of got into the reptile hobby, we attended our local shows here and got to know the person locally here that ran them for the Cold-Blooded Expos, and that's kind of how I got my foot in the door with this whole reptile world, and being able to work at his table and his booth, and then that transforming into driving product and stuff like that for shows to different locations around the Midwest. It was more like a paid internship for me, and I kind of got my feet wet and learning more about different reptiles and meeting different vendors in different areas, and just kind of spark the light for things that are happening now and things that are to come on that aspect of it. So that was a good starting point. It gave me a lot of well-rounded things, not only from just running my own table, but how much, you got not only vendors when they set up for you, you also have customers. So there's two sets of customers that you're playing at all time, and those aspects and those roles are important and stuff on that part of it.
Gotcha. So this is what, your third or fourth like different city that you've been at the All-American Reptile and Plant?
Yeah, so we had a 2-week run since Tinley. We've been going every 2 weeks. Well, going in a capacity of Epic Style's been somewhere. We went Tinley, then we went, which is NERBC. Then Troy and Nick went to Dallas for NERBC to hang out, network on that capacity. And then the last 2 months have been just ARP shows from Charlotte, beginning of April, to their Denver show, which was absolutely bonkers at the end of April. And then last weekend be in Nashville. And then next weekend, my hometown show, the biggest show in the area. I'm excited that it was able to happen, and that aspect of it, like the Kansas City show here in town with them as well. So
yeah, that's dope, man. I really like the Troy show. I can't wait to get back to it. I wish I could have went to the Nashville show. Are they having the Charlotte show again later this year? Do you know?
So the Charlotte, they had just sent out an email, or getting ready to send out an email. I know it was in the process of being put together. They've tried repeatedly to get the Parks Expo Center where they're to give them dates and stuff. And last time it was a bit of a struggle too on that. So at the moment, there is not a fall show scheduled in Charlotte. If for some reason the venue gets back to them on a timely manner to get things kind of set up and get a contract put together. But I believe for the last one, they didn't have a contract for the actual date until like a couple months out or something like that. So it was kind of nerve-wracking because they already had the dates, they said, but there was nothing like pen to paper that I'm going to go over here and service this person instead. And then like you have to mass cancel stuff and on that situation. They didn't really want to play that game on that part.
Yeah, I can see that being a pain.
But
what's the hold up on the business side? Like, why they take so long with it?
I don't know. Beats me. Not sure. Just you know how sometimes you message somebody on Morph Market, or you talk to somebody at a show and, hey, I want to get this animal, and it like slow plays you or something like that. So everybody's a little bit different on that capacity. But to keep their West Coast presence, or I guess East Coast, not West Coast, their East Coast presence, they're going to do a Fredericksburg show. And that's going to be that first weekend.
That's Virginia?
Yeah, Virginia. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's like the 6th, 7th, or the 5th, 6th, 7th, I think is the weekend or something there. whatever that full weekend is after Labor Day there, going into September there.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. So I definitely got some questions and stuff I want to talk about related to the topic and whatnot. But we can get to that later in the show. But before we get to that part of the show, I do kind of want to like level set for anybody who might be coming through, you know what I'm saying? And this might be the first time that they like heard you talk about like what you do and kind of your experience in the hobby. So talk about kind of your origins like in reptiles and in as much detail as you want to and whatnot, and kind of talk about like the path that's got you like here where you are now.
Yeah, no, I kind of spoke on that a little bit. Let's see. So this is 220. So this fall will be 10 years of keeping reptiles. I had reptiles when I was younger, some anoles, some smaller things, nothing crazy on that aspect of it. But as I got older, you know, life took a different path and course and stuff like that. Our son, Desmond, he's 14 for his 5th birthday. We decided we were going to get some sort of pet. Dog wasn't going to be that option at the time. We both worked crazy hours of 8 to 5 or long days and stuff. And I didn't feel right putting a puppy in a kennel, which I was like, you know what? That's not fair. I don't want to do that yet. Let's think of something different. Weren't really skilled enough, or not skilled, but like fish struggled sometimes. We tried the fish thing in the past, did the hamster thing. That wasn't always the hamster thing. There was a couple fluffies that got replaced. But
I failed at fish and I failed at a bird when I was younger.
But I don't know. I don't remember what exactly stood out that we wanted to make it a reptile. But his birthday party theme was like minions. So we got one of those like fish tank little signs that you put in there. It was painted like a minion face, had one eyeball on it. And we decided, hey, we're going to take him to the pet store and pick out a pet. We thought about getting some firebelly toads and just going that route. But we're like, it'd be really fun for him to have the experience of going and picking out said animal and stuff. So we went, picked up our bearded dragons, and still have one to this day. Her name's Kevin. She'll be 10 this fall, which is real exciting on that aspect, that our original animal still with us, enjoying life and going to programs and presentations that we do. So if the person who handed, I did buy it at PetSmart. I wasn't reptile educated at the time. I'll tell you, I was oblivious to reptile shows. Okay. So we get our bearded dragon, and about 5-6 months later, my wife, Karen, she finds our local reptile show, Cold-Blooded Expos here. We're like, oh, this might be, fun just for us to go check it out, see all the different animals and stuff. But maybe we can find feeders and stuff like that cheaper for our bearded dragon. And so we go to the show the first time, and it was fun. It was great. Like, holy cow, this exists. This is insane. Checking on all the different snakes and talking to different vendors and different lizards and tortoises, and just couldn't imagine that this is all going on at times and stuff like that. So we actually enter a drawing. My son actually wins a free snake there while we're there that time. And then the local small show is every 2 months. So we became regular patrons of the show, going there, buying our feeders, going and checking out the show. Our collection of reptiles slowly starts to grow over time. And that bond with Jason over at Go Lizards and Cold-Blooded Expos, that bond just we kind of hit it off and communicating and talking. And I remember I joked with him one time. I was like, dude, you ever need any help back here with the booth or anything like that? Like, I'm here every show. Like, I'll help out, man, if you ever need it. And so he's like, yeah, maybe next time, blah, blah, blah. So next time came and went at the show, I gave him a little crap for it. I was like, hey, man, like, you didn't message me. I would have helped out, man. He's like, I know, my bad. I'm sorry and stuff. And well, they moved locations, and for their next show at the beginning of January, and I'd say there was probably a good 2,500 to 3,000 people packed in this hotel section room, like, smaller shows, smaller sections and stuff like that. But it was, you were sardine, man. It was absolutely packed, like so busy. Yes. And he looked at me and waved me over. I go, "What's up, man?" He's like, "Are you done by chance?" I go, "I'm just walking around. I don't see anything that I need or whatever." He's like, "Would you mind helping at the table?" He said my eyes got like 10 times bigger. And I looked, I was like, "Hey, wait, how do I get back there?" And stuff. And just jumping over there and being able to, because he had supplies and reptiles and stuff like that. So being educated and being able to help people out that were first time buyers, and like getting them the right information and the right setups and all that stuff is really important. So I took a lot of pride in communicating, and if they said they were going to go buy it on the way home, hey, make sure you get this and this and this, like that's the important part of it in that aspect. And so I did that with him for about 3.5 years. Over that time, my collection's growing. I have a bunch of BallPythons. I have some different things that I'm working with and stuff, and just small little things I'm learning from other people that I've met going around the country, vending with him and watching different YouTube channels and stuff, that it got to the point to where I was like, hey, let me go. I'm off this weekend for Jason's show for Cold Blooded. I'm going to go vend this other show just as myself. And so we went, me and my son Des, we went down there and vended that show. And after having that really good show, I realized that I couldn't, I say it in the night, like a nice, I couldn't work for him any longer for what I got paid. And I could go and do my own thing and start building my own brand, which we had talked about previously, like leading before COVID, during COVID, and that time frame and stuff like that, and trying to build our own thing, because I had a lot of things that I could take and bring and stuff on that aspect. And so that's when the plan came together and started formulating Epic Style and what we wanted to do there and how we wanted to be different from other tables at shows. And oh yeah, it's definitely a good shirt. And other reptile, like how do you separate yourself? And so we watched a lot of Bar Check, we watched a lot of Camp Kinnon, we watched just different things on YouTube and stuff like that. And one of the things in the area that I had noticed was that I enjoy sharing reptiles, I enjoy talking about them, they're very fascinating. In the Kansas City area, there wasn't a big reptile thing that was going on for educational stuff or events and stuff. So I saw that as something that I could also bring with starting this new business. Would be more fun going to schools and libraries and just local, like our downtown area does like a trunk or treat or just different walks and activities. Yeah, trunk or treat, like you like Halloween and stuff and candy, or there's like the summer where they have like hey, what's the summer thing called, by the way, Karen? She can't. Oh, well. There's different events that take place downtown, and so we would request a booth space and take a couple animals with us and just kind of share that these pets are really neat and really cool. That hey, you might have a cat or dog at home, but it's completely okay to have a reptile as well. And maybe in some cases that's the only interaction a kid or an adult has. It's their first, only, or maybe the only time they get to see those type of things, because those aren't allowed in their house at the moment. And so just breaking those stereotypes and stigmatisms and stuff, showing that these are really cool animals when you work with them and raise them properly on that aspect. I will say, originally I wanted, instead of Epic Style, the name I was thinking of was NBA Reptiles. And it would have had Reptiles? NBA, nothing but awesome reptiles. Okay. And I was like, because I'm real big into sports. And I'm like, you know what? We probably shouldn't go with that. Just in case this happens to make it big on any level, I don't need Adam Silver or anybody coming after me for using their type of name and stuff like that.
NBA Youngboy got away with
it. He did. I think he brings in a little more bread than me, though. And so, yeah, no, I had the ability to be at home already because we homeschool my oldest. Okay. And so nice. it wasn't I quit a job to do this full time. I was already at home doing things, kind of working part-time here and there on some things, but then bringing this capacity into it and then adding the parties and events into it, it was able to kind of take care of that section too. So then in 21, we officially did our LLC, and kickstarted it with buying a large group of Leachianus geckos from our friends Zach and Rose. At the time, they were cages, but now they are ghost constrictors. Is their company, and that was
super.
Yeah, dope. They're awesome people. Some of the longest people in the reptile game that I've known. Definitely some of my favorite people. Never a dull moment. But from that moment there, I had started before kind of getting rid of BallPythons, downsizing, as I realized that I was playing catch up, and I can't be playing catch up. That there's so many people and so many good breeders and so many people that are so farther ahead. Or like I was just buying snakes when I first got into it to buy snakes because I enjoyed them. There was no rhyme or reason for like the breeding process. And so when I started looking at stuff and trying to pair things, like looking at Morph Market's little, thing of pairing all these things up, I'm like, well, that's $100 snake. Oh, that doesn't really make anything either. Okay. Well, these are cool snakes, but they really don't do anything. And I'm so far behind, and I'm never going to have any sort of money to be on the front edge of something. So what is some stuff that people don't work with at the moment? And started looking at that. And that's kind of why I fell in love with the Leachianus geckos. And then I got around it more, and I was like, these are really cool. Plus room temperature. I don't have to raise feeders for them, although I have snakes, so I already raise feeders for stuff like that anyways. And I think this is where we're gonna go. I think I enjoy it. My wife started to enjoy those a lot, and so her thing, she doesn't mind the snakes, but she wasn't always helping out if I needed help. If I needed her help with something, she was gonna help me clean something out on that aspect. But like, she wants to go down and feed. She'll help dig for eggs. She'll help set up boxes, all that stuff. Like, so why not? Why wouldn't I want to have more time with my family that's enjoying these set of reptiles? It's just a win-win. So
heck yeah. And that family time is super important. So admittedly, I don't know a lot about leeches.
Yeah, that's fair.
When I think of leeches, you're the first person I think about.
Well, so let's keep it that way.
So talk to us a little bit about leeches, like the upkeep, kind of like the breeding.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's play. Yeah, no, we can hit that. I'll keep it I'll try to not get too far off topic and keep precise on that section. But like I'll say, and I've said it, like I've said it on any show before, if you have a question, you missed something, you're unsure about, just hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, email, see me at a show. I love talking Leachianus geckos. I love explaining, because it's a difference in thought and how it kind of goes when you're comparing it to BallPython and stuff like that. And there are a lot of BallPython people that are starting to swing into this section. And I think it's really neat, really cool. I've talked to several different people about getting different things, or have sold them different things and stuff like that, or pointing them in directions to get different types of geckos on that aspect. So the biggest thing with Leachianus geckos is they're primarily locality based, where you think of your BallPythons, you're thinking you're thinking of morphs. The only there's albino that hard to be proven. There's just not worked with a lot. There's very few of them, and it doesn't seem to reproduce itself. It's like every 10th, 12th one that happens every once in a while, and it's from two visuals. There's a T, there's a T positive over in Spain. I don't know too much about those. And then every once in a while, there's some hypomelanistic that randomly pop up. They've bred two hypomelanistic geckos together and still get regular colored geckos. So there's still a lot of forefront and adventure and journey to be taken for Leachianus geckos, which is exciting in that in that area. But then lastly, the other recessive that is widely available, and I'd say over the last probably 15 months, you've started to see the decline in the price because it's gotten so heavy and popular, are your melanistics. Your melanistics are cool. There's various different.
How dark are they? Like, is it like solid dark or?
So they vary. Like, just like you have, like, people have their Xanthic lines that, you know, I couldn't tell you because I'm so far removed on BallPython section, but everybody has one that they say doesn't brown out or does brown out or whatever on that aspect. And I would say the best raspberry on the market, the best melanistic on the market is a melanistic raspberry, which is a production that has a dark body with maroon bars going through it. But then there's your Mount Kogus, there's your Point Miniers that have the melanistic game to them, and you'll along their back and stuff, you'll see kind of like on the hand how your hand kind of has that change of color. Mm-hmm. The top side's going to be real dark, but then the underside's going to be like that turd green, burnt brown type of color or whatever. And I would say in most cases that when they're younger is usually the best that they look, just like with your BallPythons and that with your melanistic, with exception of, you know, there's animals like you see like that black Xanthic stuff, like my friend Kendall over at, oh my gosh, what's his name? I feel so bad. Black Ball Pythons. I don't know. Ooh, my bad, Kendall. He rolls with Josh all the time. So
shout out to Kendall.
Yeah. He has a black Xanthic, and that thing is absolutely sick. Like, it's dark as could be. Like, when he was telling me about it when I first met him and stuff, I'm like, no way, you're lying or whatever. And he showed me like all the progress pictures and stuff of how it went. I'm like, that's insane. But
where are they found in the wild?
So to the north. So if my hand's Australia, I guess northeast would be over here, I guess, instead of over here since it's reversed. It's called New Caledonia, just up from New Zealand.
Okay.
Out there. It's an archipelago of about 14 to 16 islands. Dave Kaufman has some really good herping videos out there where he actually went to New Caledonia. So if you're ever interested in seeing the land that they're actually from, he has some good videos out there going out and finding some in the wild. But
so are the localities like island based?
Yes. So each island has their own specific kind of locality. So with GT is called Grand Terre. That's the main island of New Caledonia. You're going to find your Yates, your Point Miniers, your Mike Conley Dark Morphs. All your GTs are going to originate from there. Prior, when they started field collecting these in the late 80s, early 90s. And actually there are some geckos still alive today that were field collected. So, I mean, that's 35 years ago. At that point, I joke around now saying I would love to have a field collected Leachianus gecko in my collection, just because that's something you don't do that anymore. And so to obtain something like that would be neat. Obviously, time's against me because they're only getting older on that aspect. And I'm sure I've never seen one available. I've seen videos of people getting them in, but I've never seen what a price point of something like that would be. But people in Germany.
Sorry to cut you off, but how did they get like isolated on the islands? Was it like way back in the day? It was like one landmass that kind of separated, and then each locality kind of did its own.
So that would be my assumption. I'm not 100% sure on the geographical formation or what took place over there on New Caledonia, but that would be my assumption. Is that at one point, you know, the islands were either all connected, or a part of Australia or whatnot, and moved or whatnot and broke apart. And as they broke apart, and over years of just things sort of changing and fitting in with their surroundings and what they need best, dictated size and stuff on that aspect. So your Leachianus gecko is going to range from being 10 to 11 inches, and those are going to be your Nuana, your Nuamis, your Bras, all the way up to your 15 to 17 inches, with those guys pushing 400. I have a friend, Carl Vargas at South Texas Gex. He has a couple geckos that are like 520 grams. It's a big gecko. Absolutely impressive. The biggest one we have here right now, his name's Franklin. He's about 415 grams when he's fully loaded. He's about 16 and a half inches. He's been paired up the last few years. We've probably got 15, 16 babies from him over the last couple years. The trade-off with your bigger geckos is they lay less frequently. So usually a gecko lays 2 eggs at a time. And depending on locality and locality is the biggest, but obviously things can be slightly different. Your GTs are usually going to lay between 2 to 4 sets of eggs a year. So you can get 4 to 8 eggs possibly. And then your smaller localities, you can get those from, they could lay 6 to 8 times. I think not last year, but the year before, I had a female. I think she laid 9 or 10 times in one season. And wow. Depending on if they're both fertile and both eggs survive, I mean, you could have up to 20 babies that year. But those are smaller end geckos, and it all depends on what someone's looking for. And then some people just want a Leachianus gecko, but some people I want one that's going to get big, or I want one that's going to have color. And so if you think about where the color comes from, your smaller geckos, your Nuanas, your Nuamis are going to have a little bit of that color. Every once in a while, you have a GT that has some color in that aspect. But finding out what that person's interested in and what they like is always important. And that's the hard part. Just like, I want to get a BallPython, or, I want to work this next project. Maybe it's acid or whatever, but what are some other genes I want my snake to have in it? Not just acid, or maybe I do want just acid, and that's cool. I can go grab that, and that's cool. But figuring out what the other flavors that you want. And so there's some really sick color combinations out there that have just been polygenic bred, taking the best, growing them up, watching them grow for a little bit, taking that best one and having another pair over here that's producing some really nice stuff, or getting it. Like, I did some trades with a friend in December for some of his nice stuff, some of my nice stuff, and going to kind of work some projects together and see what we end up with on that aspect of it. The care for them, real simple, real easy. Room temperature. You can provide like a UVB light if you'd like. I would say like your 5.0 grow light, and run that for maybe 2 to 4 hours. So that's anything crazy. All of mine is all ambient temperature, no UVB. I have my old hatchling rack that's turned into my baby rack and stuff until they get that 40 to 50 grams. Then I'll start moving into either bigger totes, or I have some 12 by 12 by cubes, or an 8 by, what is that? I'd say it's probably an 8 by 12 by 8, maybe. It's more longer that way. Yeah, I'd say 8 by 12 by 8 that they go into, and just kind of keep going up in there. They like a smaller environment. Yes, they are a big gecko, but they breed better. And they're not all over the place. They like to find a spot to hang out, be chill. One of my biggest things that I preach, or when someone's getting into Leachianus geckos, whether they're buying it from me or they already have one, or they're interested, because they're talking to me, and that doesn't mean they're always going to buy one from me, but I want to inform them, and I want them to have the best possible experience, because I want them to buy a gecko, whether it's from me or not, somebody else, and they like it, love it, enjoy it, and they want to get another one, because that's the only way you can keep this part of my hobby for keeping Leachianus geckos, is keep it growing. And it's in that phase, because when I first started keeping leechies there on Morph Market, there was like 70 or so roughly on there. It would dip down to the 50s, get up to 70. And last I looked, I'm not on Morph Market a bunch, but when I looked one time, because I'll say it and then I'll like, let me go look. It was right around 1,000 on there. And that's been over 5 years.
Yeah, that's significant.
That's really good. Like, yes, that means more competition. That means more of this or whatever. More people are interested in this. And so, but I'm happy, and I feel that I'm not a car, so I'm not trying to sell everybody that comes by. If you're looking for it and you let me know, I'm going to give you the facts and information, and you can make the judgment for yourself if it's time for you to hop into this new gecko and stuff on that part of it. But I like seeing the growth, and that only fuels the passion and the fire that yes, this is a growing section and more people are getting into it. And so I like it a lot. And so that part of it really makes for an exciting future and keep pushing. Like I said, there's still so much that's untapped, I feel, with Leachianus geckos and the breeding process and understanding them more. It's the hard part is like trying to educate someone in the aspect of like, you could show a BallPython and you can look and you can know what the genetics are of it. I could pull out 2 Leachianus geckos and you couldn't tell me diddly squat possibly. Like,
so quick question on that.
Yeah.
So is the Leachianus community, as far as like breeding, is it like more pures where they're trying to keep the localities pure, or is there like some people that mix and match? Like, what's the general thinking?
So I would say it's a little bit of both. And for me, when I started out, like I got some crosses. The thing I say about getting crosses though is it's important. Like if you have any interest or thoughts that maybe you do want to breed later in the future, that it's important to buy from reputable people. Can and do have crosses. But that way you get the information that dad was Nuana Nuami and mom was a Moro. So you have this information that your gecko is 25% this, 25% that, and 50% this. And so going forward, you can pass that along to your customers and stuff. I try to lean away from breeding non-locale specific animals, which means that I bought it and that person isn't 100% sure exactly what's in there. So it's like a mutt, just because that then makes it a harder sale.
Right.
The exception or the asterisk comes into play is when that animal is like a cherry blossom or has a bunch of pattern or color or something to it that makes it, that's acceptable. That's different. That wows me. That's when it kind of, yeah, exactly. So that is different in that, but just having something that looks like a mossy gecko that doesn't really have a locality, I think for the most part, you're not going to find that on a breeder's table. You're going to find that on somebody that's buying wholesale, or they got these in a trade or had them and flipped them and lost the information or whatever. That's the big thing for the educational piece with Leachianus geckos is knowing their information, knowing their 23andMe, knowing, because we can't shed test these guys. I've talked to both parties about it. It's because you'd have to go to New Caledonia. You'd have to then go to, thanks, Jerome. There's 839 on Morph Market right now. But you'd have to go there. You'd have to find those specimens in those locations, because you can't take somebody's from, like, I would say, like, I trust and I believe Steve Camilli at Leap and Leachies. I would say he probably has, him and Doug. I bet Doug probably has every locality of Leachianus. And I'm sure there's other people. And I don't mean to, if they happen to stumble across this video, I don't mean to leave you out. But if you were to take it and base it off that could be factually wrong if something actually wasn't what it was or whatever by unintentional reasons. And so, and plus geckos eat their shed. Like, so you'd have to time this thing perfectly and make it work and all this stuff. And so, there's a lot of like just buying like dog breeds and thinking of that type of thing, is that your breeder who you select is very important, and just not test them on the knowledge, but just research and ask questions and pictures and things like that. Like, oh, hey, this is a GT and it's only 190 grams. Well, that's not a GT then. If it's an adult breeder and it's only 190 grams, there's just things that are going to be off on it and stuff like that. So that's my biggest concern with like how the market is growing, is that, not saying just here, before shed testing, selling hets back in the day, you took someone's word that it was het for this or het for that. And then you grow it up, or you go home and you bought it as an adult and you pair and you try a couple seasons or something because you're like, oh, didn't hit. Odds gods weren't with me. And then boom, this shed testing thing come out and woo-wee. Yeah, you sold me a snake that wasn't that. Yeah, it's, don't be shitty to people. Like, that's always going to come back to you. I think you had a podcast about that a little bit ago.
Yeah, a couple weeks back. 2-3 weeks back.
So don't be shitty to people, because that's always going to get you.
big facts, man. Hey, I do want to take a real quick commercial break.
Yeah, no, you're good.
When we come back, I want to talk about your brand and why Epic Style hits different.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Known for his innovative approach to genetic shed testing and top quality ball pythons, Grey Rider Reptiles also excels in exceptional customer service and responsiveness. With a quick turnaround time, Charlie ensures you get the service you want and need. Visit shedtesting.com to explore his offerings and experience the best in the business. Don't miss out. Head to shedtesting.com today and unlock the power of your breeding projects.
Peace and love, family. We invite you into the heart of our serenity, Ancestral Royal Pythons. At Ancestral Royal Pythons, we're not just breeders, we're nurturers of love and growth. Each of our high-end ball pythons is a tribute to the grandeur of the natural world and our dedication to quality. Reach out today and bring one of our creations into your home. This is Ancestral Royal Pythons. Your journey begins here.
Here's to the exciting world of Ebony and Ivory reptiles. From unforgettable parties and events to keeping and hatching some of the dopest reptiles in the reptile hobby, we're all about education, quality, integrity, and respect. Hit us up and see how we can help make your next project a reality. Experience Ebony and Ivory Reptiles, where fascination meets fun.
Ebony and Ivory Reptiles.
Big shout out to the sponsors. Big shout out, man. Appreciate you, fellas. So Epic Style, you touched on it a little bit, but let's go into detail. How did you land on that name?
Writing names down on a list, and it's crazy because it's not that long ago, but it feels like a while ago, because that would have been roughly probably 2019, 2020. It would have been 2019, because our plan was to start in 2020, but then COVID happened, so then we slowed the roll on that. And so just trying to go through different phases and different names. I think after I left the NBA reptile thing behind, I went on to the Why Not Reptiles. And I like that. Like one of my favorite players is Russell Westbrook.
Okay.
And his motto is why not? And just, overcome, persevere. There are challenges that take place. So keep pushing. And it just kind of stuck with me. I kind of enjoyed it. And I was like, well, why not reptiles? Like, people have dogs, people have cats, people have fish, people have birds. Like, but so you say a reptile, sometimes people go, ugh. And
unfortunately.
And so I'm like, why not? Why can't you have that? And so for a minute, that was probably like the leader, and that would have been like the main logo. But I liked it a lot. Maybe I liked it too much, and I should have just went with that. That I wanted that to be our hashtag, our punchline, the part that you got afterwards. I don't remember where Epic Style fit in or how like the moment it popped in my head, but I liked it from the idea that I could grow that brand and use it across multiple platforms without it being gecko-centric, lizard, tortoise, ball python, snake, whatever. It has a lot of of room that it could, Epic style could be this and this and this. I could develop other things under this umbrella. And I think that's what leaned me really hard into that section for us and for future goals and admirations of wanting to push this thing as far and as best as we can ourselves. And so I think that lended itself to had a lot of pliability, and that's why it stuck. And we played around with it and did different little logos and different little things and stuff like that. This snake logo here needs to be gone sometime soon. I have a few snakes on the table every now and then, but I need to figure out. I don't know, that cool little patch I made ain't got the hair no more, so can't put that in the middle. It's fun. I'll think of something different for that spot at one point. I don't know if Troy's still in the comments or not. He wants to rebrand me completely.
Oh,
and
word.
he wants to do it all, and he'll bring the stuff to the show, and I have like a blind setup. I wouldn't even know what it is.
I would trust that. Not from Troy.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, I don't know about that, man. That's a lot of
That's a
lot of pressure.
It's gonna be real worthy.
Yeah, but I enjoy it. It's fun. I think it works out well. It's people seem to enjoy it on that part of it. We have that our party programs around here locally. We have a little epic, which is an hour-long event. We have a big style that's an hour and 35 minutes that we bring, different amounts of reptiles out to that. We have Inspiring Scales. That was a name that I thought about using that after Epic Style kind of got some momentum going forward a little bit. I was like, well, what about Inspiring Scales? Like that could be kind of cool, kind of fun on that aspect of it. But now that's what we call our presentations when we go off to the libraries and educationals, going to schools and camps and stuff like that. Because that's what I want to do. I want to inspire you that you want to learn more about these reptiles, or maybe want to keep one day, just to get that motor going and that understanding that there are all these great creatures out there that you may not see on a daily basis if you're not tuned into it. Like, how much farther would my reptile passion or drive or what I'm keeping now be if I would have found this while I was in high school or during college or something in that aspect. But God has a reason for all those different things and puts you in different places. And I feel my path has been exciting and fun and different. And I've met a lot of great people along the way that have helped shape my brand, me, ideas. And it's been a great time. This is a really fun community when everything is functioning and people play fair and all that fun stuff. But it's life. So there's always the BS and stuff like that, but it's always fun to have people and friends that you can count on and with different people, being able to travel. Like, that's one of my favorite parts is we usually travel as a family. Every once in a while it would be me. I'd roll with Bob and Josh and we'd go to some Reptilian Nation shows. And so it would just be me solo, which was fun and different. But I think having our family at the booth adds to a different presence. And from a sales point or from a picture, stepping back to the other side of the table, you walking by and seeing someone has their whole family there and they're working hard and all this stuff, or maybe you've seen us over the years and you've seen the evolution of how Des went from being just a kid that enjoyed reptiles to he did little paintings and stuff. And then now he's selling geckos at the show. He sold $1,000 gecko at Charlotte. He sold 2 geckos at Bob's show. He sold 2 geckos in Tinley. And these are sales he's making by himself. Like, he's people are giving him the time. He's heard me talk to people over and over again about the care. He's here. He helps us with feedings and stuff like that. So he's now trusting his knowledge and comfortable with speaking his word, and seeing that kind of happen and take place, or other people telling me about their interactions with him and stuff is it's just a real blessing. And I don't try to force anything or don't want to force anything upon my kids that they have to do. Like, hey, sorry, we're going this weekend. You have to go. But like, if you help out the table, like, I'm gonna kick you back some money. Like you sold, like he sold that $1,000. I kicked him $60. You sold $1,000 gecko. Here's $60 for you, man. Like, I don't know. I didn't ask how long it took him. Like, I was away from the table. He called me like, hey, Dad, let's come over here real quick. I'm like, all right. And so he thought that was really neat on that aspect of it. And he goes to the programs locally with me. I think that helps out sometimes a lot. He's gotten older, so maybe that's not as too big of a factor. But when he was still younger, he would go with, because we've been doing our program. So this is for the last 4 years. So when he was 10, 11, 12, 13, he was going to these things, and kids were seeing another kid give a small little conversation about a bearded dragon or his blue-tongued skink or his corn snake that he was comfortable talking about, or showing it and walking around and holding it, letting parents see it. These animals are okay for your kids to handle, that working with them, just like everything has a mouth. Accidents do happen or whatever, but just like a dog or a cat or a horse or, some pet you have, like, working with it is important. We're not Dr. Doolittle, but your animal's cues. You can understand those. You can relate. You can see, hey, something's quite off here or whatnot. And so I think just others in that light, seeing a child work and be present and enjoying it and having no fear on that aspect. My youngest, Zariah, she's 7. Since we got into this, before she was born, we were already into reptiles. So all she knows is like, reptiles. Like, oh, what kind of reptiles do you have at your house? We don't have any reptiles. Oh, okay. Well, we for lunch. So, okay. I thought everybody had reptiles or whatever.
Then she got to hit with the why not reptiles?
Yeah, exactly. For sure. And so first and foremost, I'd say my family is what makes epic. And then the connections, the friendships, so many people I've crossed paths with and met have been so amazing to us in different areas. And that's the other aspect that makes it so special and so important on that, that I couldn't imagine if someone, when we got that bearded dragon back in 2015, if they would have said, hey, this bearded dragon is going to change your life, I would have scoffed and said, what do you mean? Like, it lives in a tank. I'm going to buy it crickets. I'm going to enjoy it. We're going to go outside. It's going to be a blast, but I'm going to work for the man and I'm going to do all this and I'm going to do this or what. Nope. Yeah, I had other plans. So I never thought of owning my own business. That wasn't anything that ever crossed my mind or thought of when you were in any point of school of, you can have a business about animals. You can have a business about reptiles. Like, oh, is this your full-time job? Yeah, it is. Like, and I say it with confidence. Like, I enjoy it. I love it. It's exhilarating. And having that forward thinking and trying to be innovative and just getting home this weekend from Nashville. I hadn't seen my animals. I left early. I left Tuesday, got down there. We did setup and all that stuff. I got back Monday afternoon. I went downstairs and I looked at my gecko room. I go, I missed you guys. Like, because they weren't, none of them were at the show with me. And so it was just, I was around different animals and stuff like that, but it was nice to be home and checking out the animal. Like yesterday, we took the tortoises outside. It's nice enough here that they can start staying outside. We have our sulcata. He can roam our backyard. But then I have a special pen for our not sub-adults, but they have good size, so nothing's going to happen to them outside, our sulcatas and our redfoots. And I took them outside. Like, it's fun. I love it. Like, I did a post earlier today with showcasing the redfoots and the sulcatas outside on our Instagram, and taking those pictures and watching them eat and enjoy after being inside for a long winter. It was so fun.
Cool. So like with your brand and whatnot, obviously it's more than like just your name, just your logo. It's like really all about like who you are, what your business is, like what what are those principles and values and stuff
Yeah.
that you stand on. I was going to ask you to speak to those a little bit, but I feel like in your talking points earlier, you really kind of hit on a lot of that, but definitely feel free to add some of that. But one of the things I want to follow up with is, can you talk about some of the influences that really kind of led to your approach with Epic Style and with your branding?
Let's see. Just going to shows, and when I was working for Cold Blooded Expos, and that time talking to people, seeing how people set their booths up and what displays and how things kind of flowed. I didn't start out right away having ARS cases. Like, it was a progress, right place, right time. I was at the show in Omaha, Nebraska, and another vendor that I had created a relationship with, we were walking around the show. It was kind of slow. It was later in the afternoon. He goes, "Hey, I'm going to get some next level displays or cases, and I'm going to sell these. Would you like to buy them?" I bought all 6 of his cases and his JSA lights for $1,200.
Oh, that's a steal.
Yeah. Like I wasn't sure how good that of a deal that was until I went over to a friend. I go, "Hey, man, he's offering me this for this. Is that a good deal?" And he goes, "He's what? How many are you? If you don't need any of those, I'll buy them from you." And so then I went and took a peek online. I'm like, "Oh, that's a hell of a good deal. Oh, that's a really good. Hey, man, I'm buying them all. Sorry. I don't know where this adventure is going to lead me. And I don't know when I might need 6 cases. I've used 5 before, and that was just recently, but that was super huge. Like that was a big thing right there. But just networking, right place, right time with different people, being able to go down and visit Arlington, NERBC a couple times and network and meet some friends. And then being able to go vend that really early in my era of just starting out vending and stuff like that. Like, we vended Arlington the fall of 21, and we started vending that earlier that spring was when we started. And so we got into Arlington. And then I graciously snuck into Tinley through our friends Zach and Rose back at Ghost Constrictors, and they weren't using their space, and so I was able to get their space and work that route, and it worked out well because I was something different on that aspect. But that's been our spot ever since, and that's really helped a lot in just putting in the hours to network. And I know my wife hated it the first few times around and stuff like that because I'd be away from the table. But I would just be out there planting them seeds and talking to different people and checking out different things. And the hair really, I feel originally the hair was its own thing. It never meant to be my calling card. And I never set out for that to be the thing. I started growing it out like 6.5 years ago, and there was a point where I thought about cutting it because I noticed it was kind of thinning, and I was like, man, this is really going to be the last time I'll probably be able to have my hair out. I'm just going to let it ride, and I'm just going to go. I don't care right now. Like, I cut my hair already once for a job back in the day, and didn't get the job. So,
wow.
yes. Because you have to conform, and you can't have tattoos, and you can't have long hair, and you can't do this, but whatever. So that the hair kind of became its own animal. And I remember there was a moment where someone said, "You're going to cut your hair?" And I was like, I kind of stopped and thought about it. Like, at the time, like, that's how I stood out. That's how people would recognize, like, oh, Chris was over here, Chris is there. Just from the hair alone in itself. And so I was like, well, I can't cut this right now. People are just now getting to know me. And jumping back to just planting those seeds and stuff, now I'm to the spot to where people will, because I'm on that far north, I'm on that last row at Tinley, the far north end, which who knows where the best spot is. People say it's right when they walk in. People say it's over here. People say it's over there. I've done fairly well over there. Nothing crazy. Everybody has a different expectations for their shows. And and that you could tell somebody I did 5,000 this week, and someone said I wouldn't get out of bed for that, and someone would be like, I'd be head over heels for that, you know. And so I feel I do a good job in marketing where we're at, showcasing, sharing, and then I've been around people enough that you can, if they're looking for what we have, they know where we're at or where we're located. But then just other people coming by our booth and saying hi to us, and seeing that kickback. Now my wife sees that time that I put in with going to other booths is paying off when people come by our booth and stop and hang out and talk. And this relationship here with Redline came from, we were at Arlington. Josh and Bob had little pamphlets on their table. I was like, hey, can I grab a couple of those or whatever? I don't ship anything yet, you know, and because I had Joe and Sheena of JSA, they kind of told me the story on Robin's little origin and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's really cool, man. So I'm gonna grab a couple of these and put them on the table and stuff. And plus it said like 60% off shipping. So, hey man, if somebody wanted to get some shipped, man, I got a really good code right here that I can use for that first one. And so he saw those on the table at Tinley, and
what year was this?
That would be 22 because it would be 22. I think it'd be 22 Tinley.
Fall 22?
Yeah, fall of 22, because
Okay.
they had just launched in September at Arlington, and that was the big buzz and stuff like that. And so then he came by the table and said, "Yo, thanks for having those out. Appreciate it, blah, blah, blah. Are you guys coming to St. Louis?" And I was like, at the moment, we're not sure or whatnot. And weekend ended. He reached out a couple weeks later and stuff, because it's like it's like 3 weeks between Tinley and St. Louis and ERBC. And he's like, hey, I'd like to, go out and get a meal and stuff like that. Are you guys coming to St. Louis? I'll get it planned out. So I told my wife, I was like, yo, this big company, I don't know what they know about us. I don't know. I don't know. I've only shipped one reptile before this. Like, they want to go out to eat with it. I think we have, just on the premise of just this alone, we have to sign up for St. Louis. So we go ahead and we sign up for St. Louis, and we go out to dinner, and it was with Robin and Brian from Brian Potter, and it was a great time. It was me, my kids, my wife, and stuff, and never was like, how many boxes do you ship? How many? Like, just got to know me for who I am, and just as our family, and being really young into like the fact that they were interested in knowing that. And once they found out, like, hey man, we're still pretty new at this whole game, that it wasn't like, oh, we need other people involved, or we need someone different. Like, this person here isn't worth our time. And that really stood out. And just how much over the years of getting to know Robin better and reaching out to family or having conversations and stopping by the table or whatnot, like, love that guy, man. He's definitely a friend for life. And so definitely thankful for that bridge that we crossed and all that stuff. And like,
yeah,
like,
Robin,
you have that network and that connection as well in your own personal story in that aspect. Like,
yeah, and it was very similar in the sense that, like, when you first started talking with Robin, like, he's not like asking about like how many packages you ship, like all that kind of stuff. Like, he wants to know like about you as a person, like what your goals are and things like that, and just really hones in on what's important to you. So yeah, I can definitely attest to that.
It makes you think about things differently too, in aspects and stuff like that. And so unlocking different aspects and avenues, and that other people have done that for me too as well. And so it's neat and interesting, because if I was to play back time or whatever, like, and show myself this person I am now, I'd be amazed at like at where I've gotten to so far. But I don't want this ain't the peak yet. So
big facts.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. That's super nice. Your babies are so cute. I was looking at your babies that she just posted. They're so cute.
She was on with Jen on Country Corner. Really good episode. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. her setup, and
Yeah.
just like how much. Like you
Oh,
can
it's
tell,
crazy.
like her passion for her animals. It just
Absolute
like you can feel
connected.
it through the phone. You can feel it through the
Mhm.
screen.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like it's so cool just chilling in a hammock. They're just kind of cruising around, doing their thing and stuff. Like, yeah, no, super cool. Absolutely blessed to. I trying to think the first time. Man, oof, was it maybe Pomona? I don't know. I've seen several times. Always make sure when I see her to say hi to her and stuff like that. Amy's just a great person. On that aspect of it. What was the other part of your question? I feel like I'm missing.
So it was the influences was the main thing, but
Yeah. I would say I know everybody. I would say Barcheck to some extent. Like it was fun, like watching those videos with my family together. That then pushed our drive for reptiles and learning different things, checking them out. Then that dove us into like I found Camp Kinnon or found oh my gosh, Brian Gundy, finding just different avenues. Now like the amount of reptile content that's online, like maybe I was oblivious. I don't know. Like there weren't a bunch of like podcasts I feel taking place 8-10 years ago or whatever that you could hop on and watch and stuff like that. Is just phenomenal. You can go and find reputable people talking about things that you're interested in, discussions of just things that you don't know and are curious about, on different animals that you're keeping, and you have a connection with. You feel you have a connection, like you're a part of them when you respond to people in chats and stuff like that, and getting to meet those people and them getting to meet you in person, or them getting to meet someone, or you meeting someone, one of your followers or your Patreon people in person and stuff at a show or whatnot. Those moments are really cool and aren't like lighthearted and stuff on that aspect of it. But no, just small people and just taking someone's piece and how can I spin it to mine, and what can I use from this to help me push forward, or how's your thinking involved? How does that change my thinking and the way I see the show floor, or way I view this animal, how someone does it, on this aspect and stuff. And my piece that I try to pass along is like, I don't like to use full cork rounds for people that are getting into Leachianus geckos. I like the halves and flats. That I feel, because your Leachianus gecko can be cage aggressive. So it's important when you open their cage that you know where they're at. Just like if someone took off the roof to your house right now, Mike, you kind of freak out a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of that same. You would probably bite the thing that was going to grab you, like, or do something to it. Like, I know I would. And so I think that aspect then of having those flats and halves, I have access to every point in their enclosure that it doesn't affect. It doesn't, they don't build that anxiety up that they have a freak out moment. And so that's one thing, my piece of pie that I try to pass along to other keepers or other people that are interested. That I think that, with doing those things, that they do just fine, and they keep the care for them the exact same. They can withstand the temperatures that are mid 60s all the way up to your mid 80s. The sweet spots, that mid 70 range, mid to upper 70s is nice for them. But yeah.
So gotta ask you a hot seat question.
Uh-oh. Backpack on.
So what are some things that grind your gears about the reptile industry?
Can you just say drama? That's I mean, it's hard to pick one point, but I mean, you can look at one point and go to another and go from this and go to that. But
yeah, it seems like something pop up.
Yeah,
almost weekly.
It does. Like, I've never came across anybody personally and myself being like I mentioned earlier, like, only the breeder really knows what the animal is, but if there's somebody out there like selling geckos and changing the localities of them just to make money, like that's pretty effed up. But then just little ticky tack, like misrepresentation of like a show, or just openly screwing somebody over, like on that point of it, just it's not cool. It's not fair. Karma's a B. You'll get your own, but
you better make sure she's beautiful.
yeah. is it really worth it? Like on that part of it, those type of things kind of frustrate me. Or just keyboard warriors, man. Like keyboard warriors take it to the fullest. Like they read part of your comment, and that's the only part that they come on. And like I'll say that I don't. Robin and Darian aren't the people fighting like in this Morph Market Redline. I don't even know how, like it's just Morph Market Redline. What about Ship Your Reptiles? What about Reptiles to You? They're shipping companies, but it just seems to be those two that bump heads on stuff. But where they bump heads is it's us going at each other for stupid like, cool. If Mike, if you want to ship with them, go right ahead. That's cool. If you want to ship with them, Chris, you go right ahead. It's cool. Ship with who you're shipping with. Like, I don't care. Just don't make it out to be so special or so weird that I'm not a verified member on your site, or a just different things. Like that stuff was stupid, and I guess it was stupid enough because I didn't renew my Morph Market account, but that's a different story.
No, dang.
I have a website, and I already pay for the yearly stuff to have a store and everything. Yes, people are all over Morph Market. But I feel if I can do sponsored ads, I can keep up on keeping inventory listed and stuff like that. I don't hit home runs and sell and ship stuff 100 times a year. Most of my shipments last year were from Morph Market auctions or a couple of Morph Market sales that hit there and there. Most of the time, most of my sales are coming from me being at shows and laying that groundwork. If someone has a secret sauce to the pudding, how to up your sales, send me that PowerPoint.
You need to watch Chris's episode.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not Chris. I'm sorry, Brian.
Brian? Okay.
Yeah,
because that's the only, like, that's one, if I could, that is one thing that doesn't bother me, but that's one thing on my list for 20. Like I want to work on that online presence and stuff like that. Because I do sell stuff online every now and then, but it's nothing like I'm not shipping a box out weekly, or maybe I ship one out once a month or something on that aspect. If you break it down for the whole year,
he dropped a lot of good information on like sales. I don't know if you heard it or not, but if you haven't, it's definitely worth the listen. And I ain't just saying that to get a spin. It's definitely
you're good. No, definitely. I'm glad that's part of the reason I said if I've missed something, or there's several different avenues to catch stuff. Like, how do you hone in and find that you were there for it? So this conversation kind of fits that bill, which is great. And I think that's awesome, especially like when you're talking to different people at shows, or whether it's in your Patreon group or whatnot, or just on social media. Like you have this whole library and this whole channel and idea that you built, that you can, you may not have the exact information on it. You may have but you had somebody on that, hey, go listen to this a little bit, watch this, and then reach out to so-and-so, watch this and reach out to watch a little bit of this, which was nice. Like I recently was able to kind of do something like this. Somebody reached out, was asking a bunch of Leachianis questions, and I was a little busy at the moment. And I was like, hey, do you mind if I had this YouTube video? It's from the Denver NERBC, or Denver NERBC, Denver ARPE. The first show they had there last year. They do the educational talks at their shows and stuff. And they had Red Rock Geckos, I believe. They came out and like they recorded, did some stuff at the show, and then recorded like the talks. It was us, somebody talking about retics, and then a couple other people talking about like just care and some other things and stuff like that. And it's a really good, just quick informational video to kind of give you the key points. Then she came back to me later and had other questions that were based off what she saw, which worked out really well in that aspect for me. So,
hey, real quick, big shout out to the homie Jason, the homie OG sponsor, all that, man. Appreciate you. Ancestral Royal Pythons, appreciate the super chat. Big shout out to you, homie.
Yeah, I just saw them out in Charlotte.
Yeah, he been on the show grind. I think I misspoke last episode of Double Clutch. I said he was in Atlanta that weekend. He wasn't. He was in Orlando, but he was in Atlanta like another weekend. He just been everywhere, man. It's hard to keep up, man.
It is, man. Like I said, like we've been somewhere every 2 weeks. So like this last 10 weeks went from March to now. This next weekend will be the end of May basically, and so it'll be June. And so it slows down there, but then I have Super Show out in Pomona, California, end of June, which if you ever get a chance to get out there, Mike,
I want to. I really
definitely it's huge. Biggest reptile show I've been to.
Yeah, I definitely want to get out there one of these days.
So just a whole bunch of different stuff out there that you don't normally see at your other shows and stuff like that. So yeah.
So what y'all got coming up next? As far like you got anything special in the works? Any collabs? You changing some strategy on stuff?
So I was mentioning earlier, I was trying to get this little fancy new toy I got. I'm going to try to work on bringing more content at shows. Maybe record a couple things for our YouTube channel or whatnot. Just trying to figure out this. I see other people do it. I see you. I see Keys. I see Troy. I see Patrick, and then Chase, and people, just different people bringing content to others and enjoying that. And I mean, there's got to be room for one more, right? Like maybe not this, maybe not on this capacity, but it was fun. Like I told you, I went to the zoo recently while we were in Nashville and kind of did a quick little video and pieced some things together, and just talking to Dave and Brian at the All-American shows when they're there and stuff like that, and kind of getting some pointers and some stuff from them on bringing content and stuff to our page. And I don't think it's not gonna hurt it. I just gotta now figure out how to balance that time in of gathering what kind of information my viewers like, or what can I do differently on that aspect. And I don't want to ever be anything complicated where I'm editing things for hours or whatever. I want to do a couple simple interviews, ask maybe some silly questions. Like our first video that we did on our YouTube channel, because I only have 3 on there, was at St. Louis NERBC last year, maybe. I think it was last. Yeah, it was last year. 2024. Okay. The end of 2024, maybe. And I just went around and asked what was your first like cat or dog pet that you had? And I talked to Ed and Emily. I talked to Adeline from Adeline Arts. And then I talked to Troy, and I talked to a younger kid that was there and stuff like that. It was fun. Like putting that together and talk to Rob, and I talked to Brian Potter, and just hearing like what was that first thing. It was kind of neat and kind of different on that aspect of it. And so I said I was going to try to do more of those videos at shows, and I haven't done one since. So actually maybe I want to say it was not 24. I want to say it was 23 then, because it's been a little bit, because it wasn't that recent. So I could be lying. Okay. Yeah.
What are the
so that's
St. Louis.
So that's yeah. No, so that's something that I definitely would like to do, and to work on and play around with a little bit more there. Collabs, like I have a little bit, like me and my friend, we did that trade. We still have to grow our animals up on that aspect of it. There the exciting part, I went from having 10 breeding pairs last year to having 20 breeding pairs of geckos this year, which makes that just really fascinating. some more pure stuff.
Does it always have to be 1.1 with them, or can you like put a male to multiple females?
For the most part, yes. There are some more experienced breeders that I've seen share on stories and stuff that they have a male that they move kind of through. I'm not to that level where I feel comfortable enough that I trust you. You can gauge, like, I know my pairs because they can be aggressive in the breeding process, but doesn't mean they're always going to. And they can always be more aggressive, which can be another issue. And there's no writing in the sand that this is too aggressive and this isn't and stuff. So you have to kind of make your own mark of like what's acceptable for that animal. And so that's sometimes like maybe like I tend to lean to like, all right, this was kind of bad, or this was like, in the middle. If it happens again, I'm going to pull or whatever. And I've never had a gecko like kill another gecko, which I've had a couple friends that's happened to or whatever. But I had this one female, she kept getting this like spot beat up and you would see an open wound on her head. It happened one time. I separated, she got healed up. I put them back together and slowly it started happening again. I was like, well, this pair is no longer, I don't want something bad to happen when I'm gone for a couple days at a show or whatnot. Not worth it. We'll put you on the shelf for the rest of the season. We'll pair you up with a different pair next year. I got a couple pairs that you would never know that they fight, they breed, because they look spotless. They don't mess with each other. They do the act and go on about their life, like, and they produce eggs. But then I have some that they're just best friends. They just hang out, like they don't produce eggs. And so it's that balance of like, okay, how long do you leave that pair together? Does that pair stay together for the whole season and give them time into next season, or do you flip and switch and try something different? And so that's kind of the revolving door in that section. And then, like you kind of asked earlier, sorry to bounce back, what's the market dictating on like mixed localities and pure stuff? I feel that it's pretty even. You'll get somebody that comes by and they're looking for pure this or pure that, and that's great. I don't put some people when they say I'm looking for a pure this, and then they go list it all off. And my hard part is like, we're all humans. We make mistakes. So somebody easily, when they were collecting these, could have put a gecko in the wrong tub on accident, and that washes the whole board. And so when like you see animals posted online, oh, this is show me your Pine Island. And that's a bigger gecko. It's a 12 to 13 inch gecko that's in the mid to upper 300 grams that it should get to. And they all have a different variation, and it's normal. It can have different variation, but then like you see, like it technically probably shouldn't have spots in its bars, and everything that I've researched and learned, like there shouldn't be spots in the bars of a Pine Island. But sometimes you see spots in these things, and it's like, well, is that a Pine Island then? On that aspect, but I try to make sure where my stuff's like when I'm buying things, I get it from people who I can trust and take their word and that aspect of it. And so it's very loose on that aspect of it. But for my level, I feel I need to have pure stuff and I need to have the cross stuff because I want to have a little bit of everything on the table for a beginner and an advanced person. I feel I'm just now working into the door of where I have stuff for other breeders, like bigger breeders, not like people that are ahead of me in the game. That like that's why I want them. I want that moment where the Justin comes over to me. Justin comes and buys a BallPython from me. Like he wants what I have on my table, and because that's like the ultimate compliment right there is when you have other breeders coming in and getting your stuff for that aspect. So when my friend asked me for that trade, I was like, damn, he thinks I got some good stuff over here. Like, that's cool. Like, I appreciate that. And at Tinley, it's fun seeing, because usually that's the biggest gecko-centric show I'm at. There's Andrew and Sarah from LAC Herps and Doug at Ridiculous Racks. Sometimes his friend Johnny flies out, and he has a bunch. He has a Johnny Racks. He has a bunch of stuff, like just absolutely heat. Like his stuff's so he doesn't have to do shows. Like he just has the heat and to reach out to him for and stuff like that. He breeds some skinks too, which are pretty cool on that aspect of it. But yeah.
Nice, man. Well, we at 9:30. I usually try to cut it off around about 9:30.
Yeah,
man.
no, you good, man.
Blast, man. I learned a ton just listening to you. Like I said, admittedly, I still don't know a lot about Leachiana geckos, but I definitely learned a lot tonight, and I know more than what I started with at the beginning of the show.
Yeah,
so
no, definitely. The best part about them is you don't have room temperature. You don't have to feed crickets or insects to them. Just feed Pangea. Feed them about every 3 to 5 days, depending on the time of the year. And so yeah, they're fun. So if anybody wants to know more, has more questions, Epic Style LLC, you can find us there on Facebook and Instagram. WhyNotReptiles.com is our domain on that aspect. So yeah.
Nice, man. Y'all make sure y'all go check them out. The link is linked in the description. Definitely go check it out. Again, appreciate you coming on tonight. It's been a blast. Appreciate everybody in the comments tonight in the live chat. Big shout out to the replay game. Big shout out to the audio only gang. That's gonna be it for tonight for Clutch Conversations. I'm Mike. It's the homie Chris. The lovely lady behind the scenes is Takar. Thank y'all for coming out. Be blessed. Peace.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.